What's going on, YouTube? This is Jim, and today I want to talk to you guys about the games with gold for April 2016. But before I do that, I'm very happy to show off some cool toys that my buddy Brent got for me. Now, he actually didn't get these for me. He made these for me way back in Christmas, but I have yet to bring them home because my room wasn't complete. But now that upstairs is done, I can show these off. So he made me these 4 coasters. I'll show them to you now. It's a ceramic tile with like a nice cork board on the back, and then he's gotten different logos of my favorite video game characters. And they're really, really neat. He used some kind of clear epoxy, I guess, to kind of paint them on. So I just wanted to show them off really cool because I think these are just so neat. And I'm looking forward to leaving them up here on my desk now and checking them out while I talk to you guys and putting my drinks and stuff on there. And they're really, really neat. And of course, you know, he got support from all the major consoles. So we got Mario, we got Master Chief, we got Marcus, and then the PlayStation logo. So these are really, really cool. I know I said thanks before, Brent, but it was really, really nice of you. I really appreciate them, and they're gonna hang up. They're gonna hang out up here. Next time you want to come over and shoot the crap for all 5 of my fans, you're more than welcome to. Anyways, on to the Xbox Live Games with Gold for April 2016. This is actually a really good month because this we're leading into that E3 season. So I feel like game companies are going to put their best hat on. And in my personal opinion, around this time of the year is when you start to see both Xbox and PlayStation ramping up their respective programs to kind of draw people in. So Microsoft hits first. They always seem to launch their titles a few days before. I'll do a separate video on PlayStation launches theirs. It could be as soon as tomorrow, but typically it's closer to the last day or 2 of the month. So on Xbox One, we're treated to 2 actually really good major titles, in my opinion, that aren't these weird indie games that we've been getting in the past. The first is The Wolf Among Us, which is a really cool Telltale game that takes place of a guy who is like in this fantasy world where werewolves and that sort of thing exist. And I don't want to give too much away. I did get to play through game 1 of the series on PC when Steam had it for free a while ago, and I really did enjoy it. But if you know anything about Telltale games, you know that they have a lot of choices. There's decision trees that are sort of remembered. It's a point-and-click adventure. I still feel these games work best on a PC when you can use a mouse as opposed to analog sticks. I played The Walking Dead Season 2 on my PlayStation 4, and I really like Season 1 better on the PC. Graphics look identical, the loading times, and all the unfortunate nastiness that comes with Telltale's games in terms of their unoptimized engine and some of the wonky cuts and the way that things flow together sometimes. It's still there regardless on what platform you play. But regardless of how you control it, The Wolf Among Us, at least the first game that I played, I really enjoyed. I'm looking forward to diving into this one on Xbox One. The second one is a game that I actually bought because I loved it so much. But for all those who don't have it, Sunset Overdrive is coming. Sunset Overdrive is a third-person, crazy, over-the-top, action-y adventure game where you run around and you have to try to stop this mutated virus of energy drinks that's turned people into these mindless kind of zombies. It's ultra colorful, ultra humorous, that break the fourth wall constantly. It's really a fun game. The problem with this game, though, is the control scheme is very convoluted and it requires a significant amount of button pressing. And for that reason alone, if you do not have the Xbox One Elite controller, I think you're going to have a very hard time playing it. You have to do a lot of grinding, then you press the button to grind, hanging down from the rope, then you press it again, and now you're on top of a rope, while you're jumping with a different button, while you're shooting with the trigger, while you're aiming with the right thumbstick. Your right hand is going to have a significant workout unless you have the Elite controller, in which case your your ring fingers, and your middle fingers are going to be doing all the work on the triggers, and that leaves your fingers always on the thumbstick, which is what the Elite controller, that's really selling point of it is. Without that, I think you're going to have a very difficult time playing this game. But give it a whirl. Tell me what you guys think. I think you'll find that without that Elite controller, you're not going to be able to pull off all these really cool moves. And the game is very based on like Tony Hawk-esque rules, where the more points you score, the more abilities you unlock in a specific run, it kind of charges up this meter, which allows you to do more and more fun things. And if you don't have all of those meters up to the full, you're not going to get the full excitement of the game. So that's why I don't think it did as well as it probably could have. But the Elite controller wasn't out when this game originally launched. So now that it's out, check it out. On the Xbox 360 side, we're treated to Dead Space, which is a great game, but it is very, very, very dated. This was, I think the first Dead Space, in my opinion, was the strongest of the series. It was very horror-based in this one. It's very, very... It's like Resident Evil in space. There's a lot of really weird music, a lot of really weird aliens. You walk very slowly through the ship, kind of checking corridors, and you have some really trippy energy-type weapons and really weapons that you wouldn't normally expect to be used to fight aliens, but since you're kind of like man versus alien in the middle of this abandoned kind of space station, you're going to find you're using really bizarre things like nail guns and that sort of thing. I don't want to give too much away on that. I think you will enjoy it, though. But it's definitely more horror-based than it is anything else. By the halfway through Dead Space 2 and then definitely in Dead Space 3, it was almost like the Michael Bay over-the-top, action-y, explosion-y, weird adventure. But the first one, I think, remains true to the series. And if you play any of them, I'd recommend the first one. So getting that for free on the Xbox 360 is great. My understanding is that game is backward compatible with the Xbox, or forward compatible, whatever, with Xbox One. So I believe you can play it on your new shiny console. Additionally, you're going to get Saints Row 4. I don't think this is the bonus edition. I think this is just the core edition of the game. Saints Row is a spoof, if you're not familiar, off of the Grand Theft Auto series, but fun in its own right. Saints Row 4, you actually become the president, I believe, if that's the one I'm thinking of. Let's see, because I had Saints Row 3. Yes, Saints Row 4, you basically become a president. It really gets up over the top. It's this whole virtual reality world in which you can fly and do kind of crazy maneuvers. To me, this is where Saints Row needs to end. I don't think the series should continue anymore past this game. It's making such a parody of itself, of a parody of itself, of a parody of itself. It's so deep in that meta that it loses any semblance of any logical story or any realistic... there's really no development in terms of what your character can do because you're basically a god at this point. And I think the progression system suffers pretty significantly because of that. You know, you play the Grand Theft Auto games and you see all the goofy clips online where people are, you know, skydiving off airplanes into other airplanes and doing backflips on motorcycles into helicopters and all that crazy stuff. But there is a legit, true story to the Grand Theft Auto series that is grounded in reality. There are characters that you can, you know, appreciate, that you can enjoy to play with. The story does wrap itself up in a convenient way, and there's twists and turns along the way. Saints Row has always been just over-the-top bizarre craziness, and this definitely is the culmination of that. But it's a fun game in of itself. I have not played 4 too much. I do have it on PC. I got it as part of one of the Steam, I think they call it like the complete sale. I got all the DLC and everything. This is just the core game. You're not missing much on the DLC. I'm sure you could pick it up if you want. Just think of more costumes, skins, that sort of thing. Nothing that's really going to change the game one way or another. But again, because you are so powerful in this game and because of the way the game is framed in this kind of virtual world that you participate in, you don't really need any of that DLC kind of boost stuff because you'll find the game is very simple. There's not a lot of challenges when you can do what your character can do. So overall, I have to say this is a great month for Xbox Live members. I'm very excited to pick up The Wolf Among Us. The other 3 I've already played. But for everybody else, I think this is a great, great month, and this definitely raises the bar. You know, we have not really had a good AAA Xbox One title in quite some time, and I think you could argue that both The Wolf Among Us and Sunset Overdrive are definitely AAA type titles that are really, really, you know, kind of a pleasant surprise, and it gets away from some of these weird indie games that we've been seeing in the past. So I'm sure, again, though, it's because of E3, so don't get your hopes up too much. Probably in the June-July timeframe, the service is going to kind of go lackluster again. I have maintained for a very long time that the PlayStation users, myself included, have it much better on the PlayStation side. than the Xbox offerings. But hey, free is free, am I right? So there you have it. Everything you need to know about Xbox One games for gold, or was it called the games with gold? Games with gold for April 2016. As always, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.